Even if you've never been here, this place is familiar to you. You've seen it 1,000 times before. The beaches, the boulevards, the backdrops, we've grown up with all of them. The only constant in our collective cultural development, this city is the setting for that scene, that kiss, that adventure that is so deeply a part of who you are, you cannot imagine your life without it.
But as familiar as it is to all of us, LA is a city of 10 million unique experiences. One person is here to surf, the other is here to shop, and another is here to finally make it as a jazz pianist. But you need to know why you're here. Otherwise, the scale, the pace, the volume of this city will swallow you up. What the hell was that? LA is a monstrous city. By population, it's the second largest in America. But by area, Greater Los Angeles covers a staggering 34,125 square miles. It's sprawling, but at the same time, unbelievably dense. It feels almost infinite. Visitors to LA often don't realize the sheer scale of the experience they're about to walk into. Take the airport situation, for example. Greater Los Angeles has 5, count them, 5 major airports. Long Beach, Ontario, Burbank, Orange County, and of course, the infamous LAX. Dear viewer, I love you. I would be nothing without you. But if you think I'm going to all 5 of LA's airports, you are, with the greatest respect, out of your damn mind. But I have been to all 5 of LA's airports, and I can tell you this. Long Beach, Burbank, Orange County, Ontario, all fine airports. Small, compact, relatively easy to navigate. For American airports, not bad. But they handle almost exclusively domestic flights. If you are arriving in the greater LA area from overseas, you will, I'm afraid, have to do battle with the beast they call LAX. The 4th busiest airport in the world by passenger volume, LAX has a fearsome reputation. But with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of courage, and some good old-fashioned American gumption, we will get you through your LAX experience together.
LAX has an incredible 9 terminals. They're oriented in a horseshoe shape along a single nightmarish loop road called World Way. The terminals have sprung up over time, and fun fact, you can often tell how old the terminal is by how badly it smells.
Okay, I am being a little harsh. LAX has improved dramatically over the last few years, and given the amount of passengers they have to handle every year, what they've managed to achieve is nothing short of incredible. Now, say what you want about the passenger experience, the views on both arrival and departure are breathtaking. The greater LA area and the Pacific Coast as far as the eye can see.
Our friends at Thomas Cook Airlines, without whom this episode couldn't have happened, fly non-stop from Manchester in the UK to LAX from just £239 on one of their shiny 2-class A330s.
My name's Neil Roundtree. I'm a captain with Thomas Cook Airlines, and I've been a pilot for them for over 20 years and a captain for 16 years.
And for a little insider knowledge about LA, we ask someone who frequents this city on a regular basis.
It's like most destinations really. When you go to a new place, there's boxes you want to tick. And I've pretty much ticked those boxes because I came about 4 years ago on holiday. So I do like going to Venice Beach. That's quite a nice kind of bohemian place, nice beach. Kind of La La Land scene with the pier and what have you. That's that area. There's a nice place called Laguna Beach, which is just south of Anaheim, which is where we stay. That's quite a cool place to hang out.
Thanks again to our friends at Thomas Cook Airlines. Book your Thomas Cook Airlines flight to LAX today using the link in the show notes below. Quick tip to remember about LAX and all other US airports. If you're arriving from overseas and transiting directly to a domestic US flight, you still have to grab your bags, go through immigration, go through customs, and check into your next flight. It's a pain in the butt, but that's how it works. So when you book your flights, make sure you allow enough time to do all of the US arrival shenanigans.
Yeah, LAX is a little bit of a monster, but it does have one hugely redeeming feature. This. Alex, that's just an in-and-out double-double animal style. You can get those anywhere on the West Coast. What are you talking about? True, but this is an in-and-out double-double animal style with a side of jet fuel. Once you've inhaled enough jet exhaust for one day, which if you're anything like me is an impossibility, you'll need to plan your next move pretty carefully. LA transport is odd, to say the least. But before we even get into that, let's clear something up immediately. Can you explore the LA area on foot? Nope, absolutely impossible. Don't even bother. Sure, you can stroll down Hollywood Boulevard or prance along the promenade at one of the beaches, but this city is made up of over 80 districts and neighborhoods, all of which were separate entities before they were absorbed by the Angeles mothership. So walking between them is impossible. But once you know that, it's much easier to plan your LA transport adventures. If your hotel doesn't have a shuttle service or isn't anywhere near the airport, Uber is everywhere and has enough service levels to suit all manner of travel budgets.
To downtown LA or Hollywood, it'll cost you around $30 in an UberX. Taxis are also available from the airport, but are significantly more expensive.
1, 2, 3, go!
As for public transport, like a lot of American cities, the LA system leaves quite a lot to be desired. The aggressive and ongoing expansion of the Metro Rail is working hard to bring LA the public transport network it so desperately deserves, but it's not there yet. And so unless all of your intended destinations are within reach of the Metro Rail, not likely, it really is a good idea to rent a car. That will give you the chance to get to all the nooks and crannies of this inspiring city, the destinations as of yet unreachable by the Metro Rail.
But if you do feel like using the Metro system, it's easy. Grab a tap card at one of the machines located in all the stations, and you're on your way. The base fare for the Metro is $1.75, and that includes transfers to other Metro lines for up to 2 hours. You can also grab 1, 7, and 30-day passes if you think you'll use the Metro often.
1, 2, 3, go!
Public transportation hasn't always been a nightmare in LA. Back in the day, LA had one of the biggest streetcar networks in the entire world. But as the classic masterpiece Who Framed Roger Rabbit taught us, the streetcars were gobbled up in the 1940s by companies with a vested interest in their failure. Car manufacturers, oil conglomerates, and tire companies who sold us on a big dream of a huge network of highways that never materialized.
8 lanes of shimmering cement running from here to Pasadena. Smooth, safe, fast. Traffic jams will be a thing of the past.
And their legacy is this: LA traffic. Infamous, notorious, it is everything your nightmares told you it would be. This is what happens when you have more cars than people in a city. An Angelino friend of mine told me recently, you see, this is why we hate leaving the cozy bubbles of our neighborhoods. But despite the nightmarish traffic, a rental car still gives you the freedom to explore the greater LA area on your own terms.
Hey! Where do you think you're going? Going home. Hey! Hey!
You just really get a sense of how huge this city is when you see it from the air. It just keeps going and going and going in every direction.
Think you live in a diverse city? It's got nothing on LA. Frank Lloyd Wright once said, tip the world on its side and everything loose will land in Los Angeles. less a reflection on the city's sprawling growth, and more an admiration of its endless ability to attract people and ideas from all walks of life. With more than a third of the city's population born overseas, the people of LA come from all over the world and have made their home in the City of Angels.
Today, non-Hispanic whites make up just 28.7% of LA's population. And in ethnic enclaves throughout the city like Little Armenia, Little Ethiopia, Chinatown, Little Tokyo, and Filipino Town, generations of immigrant Angelinos paint the city with the sights, sounds, smells, and flavors of their ethnic homelands. Often overlooked by tourists, these communities are what make LA so unique, so wonderful. Nancy Kim, a second-generation Korean American, is a guide with Six Taste Food Tours who specialize in showcasing the food and food culture of LA's thriving ethnic communities. And joining us on our Six Taste Koreatown culinary adventure is co-host of the food podcast Mastication Nation and, more importantly, one might argue, my brother, Will Hunter.
Sixth Street has now basically become the boom of K-Town, like where people come for like the bars, the restaurants, nightlife. Whether it's going to a karaoke bar, whether it's just checking out different restaurants, like this is kind of the it spot right now. To be honest, Koreatown is probably the most, I guess, authentic Koreatown you will get besides Korea. Yeah. So like people will actually, like my cousins and my relatives will come from Korea and they'll be like, this is way better than like what I've had there. Like you're in for a treat if you're in K-Town and you're able to check out any other restaurants.
Compared with other Asian American communities in California, Korean Americans are relatively recent arrivals. Many Korean American families are second and third generation, having emigrated to the US in the 70s and 80s. And since their arrival, they have built thriving culinary communities that represent the then and now of Korea and Korean American life.
Banchan is basically the side dishes that you eat the rice with, you know, and it changes seasonally, whatever is fresh. So you always get signature things like kimchi is always included in the banchan. You like Korean home, you're gonna find a thing of like you're gonna find a jar of kimchi no matter what.
Dishes like Korean hot pot, bulgogi, and of course the incomparable Korean army stew.
My dad and my grandparents and great-grandparents didn't have much food, so they basically just kind of ate what like the leftovers of what the American soldiers like left behind. Things like Spam, sausages, and then they just kind of like basically made like a mosh posh of like kimchi and ramen noodles and vegetables and green onion and rice cakes, and they called it army soup because it's basically the leftovers of army soup.
So good.
You're like, oh yeah, and then there's Spam.
Spam is such a big part of Korean food. Like, if you're Korean and you hate Spam, then you're not Korean.
The joy of Koreatown is that new sits happily alongside old, formal with informal. Street food classics like udang, tteokbokki, a spicy rice cake, and kimbap or Korean sushi are all readily available and deeply, deeply satisfying dishes. A personal favorite of mine, although admittedly not to everyone's taste, is sundae.
It's pig's blood and noodles in a casing. A bit like black pudding, blood pudding, but more gelatinous. Make a good mattress, but it's and then you can.
You can. I like it.
I do. I'm a fan, and then this flavored salt.
Yep.
The salt just makes it. I know I said that, but it's good.
I love it, yeah.
Six Taste, LA's only family-owned food tour, is passionate not just about the food itself, but the ingredients. A huge Korean supermarket provides residents and visitors alike with the ingredients and inspiration for their next Korean feast. And to top it all off, fresh bunggyeopang, a traditional Korean sweet of a pancake-like batter filled with either custard or red bean paste.
Delicious. Oh, wow. So there are a lot of taco trucks in the greater LA area, hundreds if not thousands, but Leo's taco truck on La Brea in Venice was recommended to us so many times. It's got such a storied past. It's been going for almost 10 years now. And they, unlike a lot of taco places, have al pastor, which is this beautiful pork on a spit that's sliced off, very similar to a kebab. It's different in that it's got the pineapple on top, so when it's grilling, the pineapple juices roll down. It's my favorite taco by far, and I absolutely adore them. And these are apparently the best in the world, so I'm just gonna eat them. Amazing. Al pastor is often really dry if it's done badly. This is not. This is juicy where it needs to be, crunchy and crispy where it's supposed to be. Amazing. Well worth the trip.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
LA provided the cradle for one of the most significant cultural, political, and creative movements in modern American history, West Coast hip-hop. Chronicling the struggles of a marginalized and neglected generation, West Coast hip-hop was born in an area that at the time was one of the most dangerous in America. Hadari Sababu lived through it all, and now he wants people to see the roots of this all-American art.
You know, I was sitting in my jail cell at the end of a 10-year sentence, and it's winding down. I'm like, I gotta do something when I get out besides sell drugs. You know, I'm like, damn, man, if you know, all the movies that come from the hood, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Baby Boy, Training Day, all that that comes from the hood, all the rappers, the world-renowned rappers that come from the hood, especially Compton, I bet you out of the 7 million people every year that come to LA, there has to be a small percentage of those people that want to see that side.
Yeah.
Because these guys sell millions of records.
And it's no exaggeration. South Central was the home to some of hip-hop's most successful artists. Their humble beginnings and often violent, deprived neighborhoods provided the inspiration for many of their most potent lyrics.
All right, gentlemen. Let's rock. I was there in the 80s and the 90s as a drug dealer, and it was totally off the f***ing hinges. Running gun battles in broad daylight. It was just going down 24/7. You know, I would ride with my pistol on my lap because you don't know who's gonna ride up on the side of you and start trying to smoke you. So you always got to be ready in Compton.
While South Central is much safer today than it was in the 80s and 90s, Hadari still tours the neighborhoods in a bulletproof SUV. And when you hear his South Central experiences, you understand and respect his caution.
They were gang members, caught them right in front of our house right here, killed them both. And I'm in the kitchen, I hear the shots, I'm like, my kid is out there. I run out, my kid is standing there, I got 2 dead bodies right there, gushing blood out of their head, right in front of my kid. It was crazy.
In the 80s and 90s, there were so many murders in Compton alone that they opened a drive-through funeral home so that people could pay their respects in relatively safely and not fear about being attacked by rival gangs when they were trying to say goodbye to a loved one.
Make no mistake, I am a huge West Coast hip-hop fan. And for as much as we consume its product, it's frankly embarrassing that we choose to overlook its provenance. If you want to understand LA's culture a little bit better, if you want to appreciate hip-hop on a whole new level, you owe it to yourself and to the artist whose music you hold so dear to come to South Central. After all, you'll always be welcome in Compton.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Most of the time they don't with us. Sometimes they do.
America, so the dollar is the currency that makes the world turn here. There are, as there have always been, 100 cents in a dollar. And because America steadfastly refuses to give up its beloved $1 bill, you can have a fat stack of notes in your pocket and still not have enough for a cup of coffee. Is LA an expensive city? Not really. The glitz and glamour and the shine might make you think it's an expensive place when you're wandering down the street. But you can eat unbelievably cheaply here. You can drink cheaply here. And even a limited budget with a little bit of creativity will take you a long way in LA. I hate talking about tipping. I hate talking about tipping because it always causes so much angst. A lot of people think the American tipping system is dumb, but that's inconsequential because part of being a good traveler is respecting and participating in local customs and protocol, whether you think they're dumb or not. I don't care if you think the American tipping system is dumb. Your waiter or waitress certainly doesn't care if you think it's dumb. Just like tipping in Japan is considered highly offensive and rude, not tipping in America is also considered highly offensive and rude. So budget accordingly, tip appropriately, 15 to 20%, and enjoy the LA food and drink scene. It is one of the best in the world.
It would be easy for the uninitiated and inexperienced to dismiss LA as fake, featureless, and crude. Our pack 'em high, sell 'em cheap, silicone-enhanced, double-dip blockbuster fantasies brought to life. But I don't buy it, not for a second. Sure, there are areas of LA which I'd rather spend more time than others, and yes, the traffic and transport is a test of your patience and grace. But there is no questioning LA's unrivaled diversity, its opportunity, and its energy. Come prepared with a clear idea of what version of LA you're looking for, and the City of Angels will leave you with memories and moments that no Hollywood production could ever come close to.
LA is a city of 10 million unique experiences. One person is here to shop, the other's to surf, a seagull maybe trying to find some Cheetos. But you have to know why you're here.